everyone, I'm Leslie and I'm on Royal Caribbean's Ultimate World Cruise. In fact, today is day 197 that we have been sailing the world. You heard that right, 197 days, and it has been absolutely extraordinary. Now would be a good time to remind you to subscribe to the YouTube channel. I'm sharing all of the info on 170 plus ports right here on YouTube. Today we are sailing into Split, Croatia. This is the second time I've been in Split, and I got stories from 2019 when I was here and stories from today. So I'm super excited to show you Split. So what do you say we split and go explore? As I said, I was here in 2019 with a group of 8 of my girlfriends. We started in Slovenia and then went to Croatia, saw 7 different ports in Croatia over 3 weeks. It was extraordinary. This picture of my girlfriends and I was taken in 2019 on the hills in Hvar. I'll tell you about Hvar later in the video. I couldn't resist splitting the screen here with my 2019 photo and my 2024 photo. Okay, I'll stop with all the Split analogies. Welcome to Split, Croatia. Split is the second largest city of Croatia after the capital Zagreb, the largest city in Dalmatia and the largest city on the Croatian coast. Split is unique in that there are a lot of historical and landmarks and Roman ruins and Game of Thrones filming locations, tons to see, but also it's so laid back, super chill, feels very Mediterranean, you know, just sitting on the water and watching the people go by. When we were here with my girlfriends, with the hotel we stayed in, we could hear men in the restaurant below our hotel singing to the patrons. It's a memory I'll never forget. So cool. We could hear it from the window of our hotel. So getting from the cruise port to the Riva Harbor and the promenade that runs along the water is like a 5-minute walk. The cruise ship literally docks right there. As you walk in from the cruise port, it kind of begins at the Green Market, and I'll tell you about that. And then the city gates and everything kind of begins from there. You can see here from this graphic, the bottom is where the cruise ship docks. Easy walk up and around the corner to the Green Market. There's the Riva Harbor, Diocletian's Palace right in front, and then the whole city center is right in front of you. It's an easy port to get into, easy to walk to, easy to make your way around, and it's a good port to be able to come into for a day, see a lot, and feel like you really appreciated Split. In Dalmatia, the lifestyle motto of pomalo means take your time, take it easy. Split is a perfect place to take your time and take it easy. And if you watched my last video, I told you that when I was in Split, something happened to me that I was covered in bruises. So let's just cut to the chase and let me tell you about that. So I found the most extraordinary massage therapist. And when I get to her establishment, it's one room, and typically in America, they leave the room, you get undressed to whatever you're comfortable with, you get under the sheet, and then they come back in the room. Well, this was a one-room place, so there was nowhere for her to go. I change behind the curtain, and she tells me to just come out and get under the sheet, and to be completely naked. Thankfully, I'm super comfortable with that, but it was a little like, whoa, but didn't even faze her. And she asks me what kind of massage I want. And she pitches this cupping massage. If you haven't heard of cupping therapy, Google it. It's basically these kind of rubber suction cups that they place strategically around your back. It sucks. Basically, it sucks up the skin. It releases all kinds of toxins on your skin. And it's You got to go to your happy place. It's a little bit of a pain, but feels like therapy. I don't know. It was one of the greatest massages I've ever had. But when you leave, you are covered in bruises from the suction cups. But it was worth every single minute. Going back to Split on this trip, I searched Split for this woman. Couldn't find her. When we were in Split, I searched. I couldn't find her. I was so disappointed. And then I'll tell you, as we get further into Split, I'll tell you the second thing that I discovered here. This is People's Square. At the base of the flagpole in People's Square are the words of the poet Tonchi Petrasov. Quote, "One doesn't need to travel anywhere, nor does one have to search elsewhere. What you are looking for is precisely here." Here in People's Square, or here where you are. I say travel, but I get what he's saying. This is the walls of Diocletian's palace's West Iron Gate. Split's Romanesque bell tower houses their 24-hour clock. The clock has a dial with Roman numerals and has been ticking for centuries, dating back to the 15th century. The current clock is a copy of the original. So Split is a major commercial and transportation center. The city is best known for its ruins of the Palace of Diocletian, built in 295 to 305. Collectively with the historic royal residence, fortifications, and churches in the city, the palace was designated as a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 1979. The cellars under Diocletian's apartment are a strong substructure which were used to support the apartments above and to store wine, food, and other items for the use of the palace. The supports were a faithful copy of the structure above. The cellars also had a nymphaeum, a shrine dedicated to the nymphs guarding a source of fresh water. In the Middle Ages, the palace gradually became a safe haven for refugees. Part of the vast underground area was residential. In later times, wealthier citizens who had houses above the podrum would break through the vaults and turn them into storage spaces for themselves. Between the 9th and 20th century, 6 different foreign powers ruled Split: Byzantiums, Franks, Hungarians, Venetians, French, and Austrians. So are there any Game of Thrones fans watching? If there are, you'll recognize a lot of this area as filming location for Game of Thrones. The Diocletian Palace and cellars will look very familiar to you. So in Split, there's a Game of Thrones museum. Now, if you're a Game of Thrones fan, I think it would be hard not to go to the museum. But I'm going to show you a whole lot of pictures of the museum so that you can decide if you want to go. I'm not a huge Game of Thrones fan. Roy is a huge Game of Thrones fan. And for the 15 euro-ish that it cost to get into the museum, we didn't think it was really worth it. So yeah, let me just show you the Game of Thrones museum. One of the things about the entrance is that your ticket price affords you the ability to sit in a replica of the throne. If you don't go to the museum, across from the museum is a Game of Thrones store that if you purchase anything, you can also take a picture in their throne. So just keep that in mind as maybe an alternative if you don't go to the museum. This giant is Gregory. Gregory was the Bishop of Nin in 926. Romans considered him a dangerous radical. Croatians considered him as the defender of the Croatian language and culture. The statue was in the center of Diocletian's palace until 1941, when it was moved by the Italian occupation forces. In 1954, it was moved to the city's Golden Gate. Who's got 10 years of good luck coming to her? Rubbing the toe of Gregory has it that you'll get 10 years of good luck. This is the Green Market, or Pizar. It cannot be missed. It's so diverse. There's food, there is flowers, there's crafts, there's food you can take home, food you can eat there, there's produce, there's everything you could possibly imagine, and it's super local and touristy. You feel like you're really part of the community. I didn't feel like a tourist at all. People were just so kind and welcoming. It's a market, but it definitely is not to be missed if you're in Split. The Riva Harbor alone is reason to spend more time in Split. There are endless restaurants, shops, cafes, gelato, people watching, and the palm trees. These palm trees along the harbor have been here for over 100 years. And having been from the desert, seeing the palm trees, I don't know, it was just like full circle for us. We could have hung out on that harbor, watched the water, watched the people, eaten gelato all day. So here's a fun fact for you. Split is proud to have produced globally the largest number of medalists in the Olympics per capita. Like, I don't know if they're fed better or if their environment allows them to train really well, but go Split with your Olympic athletes. You can read the names of all of the athletes that have come from Split. As you wander the promenade down by the water, you can see the Split Sports Walk of Fame and all the athletes that have come from Split. So keep your eyes peeled for that. So the second thing I mentioned earlier about Split is, I know this is going to sound crazy, I ate at the greatest restaurant when I was here in 2019. I had a niçoise salad, you know, the tuna, lettuce, olives. It was so good. I've dreamt about it for 5 years, and I searched Split. I went online looking for it. I searched when we were there and I couldn't find it. I was so bummed out. All I wanted to do was share with you who the massage therapist was and where I got the salad from. And I couldn't do either. We ended up eating along the water and just had a nice lunch. It was fine, but it was no niçoise salad. So when I was here in 2019, we island hopped. And if you'll give me a little bit of literary license here, I want to tell you a little bit about that. So we took a boat and basically went island by island. I cannot recommend Croatia that way any higher. It was such an extraordinary way to see such a beautiful country. And Croatia is just islands. There's like 1,277 of them. So get a boat, just hop the islands. We left Split, we went to Hvar, and these little communities are just their own little specialness, wineries, hills. We stayed in a hotel up on the hillside so we could see all down in this cove. The water is beyond anything I can describe in all of Croatia, but I have some really special pictures from Hvar. We went on several wine excursions. You can literally just go place by place by place and have Croatian wine. Olive oil. They're rivals when it comes to who has the best olive oil. And side note, Slovenia has the best honey. We went to the Blue Cave. This was also indescribable. There was a light hole in the cave that allowed a beam of light in, and it just lit up this water that was just beyond the most incredible color blue. What you see in these pictures, it was 1,000 times better than that. And some wine and some more wine, and just a beautiful way to see Croatia. We went from Hvar to Vis. Oh, Vis was also beautiful and one of my absolute favorites. And from Vis down to Dubrovnik. And speaking of Dubrovnik, it's a good segue because next up for us is Dubrovnik. Cruise ship leaves Split and we sail down to Dubrovnik. So I hope that you enjoyed Split. I hope you enjoyed kind of perusing around this little town and seeing Croatia in this way. And I appreciate you giving me the ability to show you a little bit of other things that I saw a while back. If you enjoyed the video today, please put your comments below. I would love to hear if you've been to Croatia, if you've been to Split, what you thought of the video. And oh, as always, don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel so you're notified when I post the video about Dubrovnik. And until Dubrovnik, bye for now.